Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to give it 1 minute because I'm live right now. There's a lot going on, you guys. I wanted to come on to have a little conversation about community and our ideas about community, and how right now it's very critical because we are now in a situation where, our human resource is extremely valuable, our community. And a lot of us have a lot of ideas about community, but functioning in community a lot of times is something totally different. The communities that, for me, when I think of powerful communities, I generally think of traditional communities a lot. To be quite honest, right now, when I look at the Patriot community, there's a strong community, because the unity piece is really important. The unity piece is really important. You have to look at not just words, but how people function with one another to sustain, themselves in times of peace and in times of challenge. And having lived in Mexico now and also in Ghana, I would say that that's one of the main reasons why I have enjoyed being outside of the States, is because I feel very inspired by being around traditional people, traditional values related to community, and really seeing the value of that. Having grown up in America as an African American, the thing is that I've been in a number of different community groups, societies, and those types of things, religious groups, or more spiritual groups, I would say, with their own culture. And I went toward those things because I recognized that in American culture, I did not feel that I had a real community. I felt like, while people spoke of community a lot, when it came time to challenge and trial, and people felt threatened in any way, they would then turn to individualism, where they felt safe. And that is very dangerous in community. Like, if you talk community, but then when in the crunch you turn around and there's no one there unified with you, then that's a very dangerous place to be. It's a very dangerous place to be stuck in dogma. So in ancient Kemet, the deity that governed community was Ma'at, or is Ma'at. She governs community, balance, and the true idea of love, the kind of love that's required to maintain community. If everyone had the right mindset, it would end up being like a reciprocal love, because you give seeking nothing in return, and then other people would also give seeking nothing in return. And of course, that's totally different than the idea of love that we're given in Western culture by entertainment, by the church. Um, what we learn from Western culture is obligation. And this is with family too. It's like grin and bear abuse type of relationship. And that carries on into our communities as well. So we end up finding ourselves in community with people that we really don't feel safe around. And that's a problem. That comes directly from slavery, is the way I see it. I mean, and also from even feudalism and the Lord thing in Europe, and in churches, like this feeling of punishment or obligation if you are not committed to certain people in your family or certain people in your community. And it's really important. I had to shift my own perspective. And I'm trying to think of where I heard this from. But, like in the past, I always thought that love meant, like I said a second ago, giving, seeking nothing in return, right? But when you're an empath, you can overly do that, and you can serve people who injure you, or you could be committed to people and things that are not also serving you. So basically, you can have a parasitic relationship. You can in with the idea of wanting to be a good person, right? You can set yourself up to be a food for the parasites, the narcissists. As far as there's some people that live off of other people, parasites. And it's something that is so normal now that in a lot of instances, the parasites are even glorified, right? The people who use other people are always, manipulating and leveraging. Of course, in African American community, we know how we glorify the idea of hustling and even pimping, that kind of stuff. But then, while that, I guess, can be seen in a very individualistic way, I mean, somehow someone can see themselves as winning in a situation or something like that. It can never sustain a community as a way of life. And so this is the concept, is that, we always have to look toward balance. And in a healthy community, love is the order of the day. And it's so crazy that it's so complex now that a lot of people have a difficult time understanding even what that means, how to be loving in a community. Because it's like we're so used to the idea of all the things that we have to do. So, for example, like we all have these ideas, right, of going to these family things and having to withstand certain people, and like everyone kind of laughs at like certain people who are abusive in families and things, and we just kind of like accept it, instead of everyone kind of setting a standard that has to be honored, so that um, young people are safe, and also old people too. I mean, where everyone is safe, because we all have different levels of sensitivity, and different people respond different ways. And so it's really important that we take the weakest into consideration whenever we do things. But then also, like if you are an empath like I am, it's really important to maintain balance where not only, okay, we have to switch the viewpoint that the idea is to pour yourself outward, right? Because in reality, we are all one. Everything is all one, right? So when we're talking about unity in the community, in reality, everything is one. Everything is one. You embody everything, right? And everything is a projection of what you are on the inside, right? So consider this as, people who need healing. Consider this, that you are serving everyone by serving yourself first, instead of using all your energy to serve other people. At this time, take all of your energy and serve yourself. And by doing that, you're serving the collective. And the reason why I'm saying that is not like a hairy-fairy logic. It is a real logic in the sense that you have to be responsible for the energy that you bring to other people. That's like the most important thing right now. As everything and everyone are on edge in this moment, the most important thing to consider is how balanced are you for yourself, and then also for others, but for yourself. And if you don't do anything for anyone else right now, but you are able to stay grounded and take care of yourself, you are doing a lot, because you are important. It all starts with the one. And we're all taught these ideas. We should serve other people, don't get me wrong, and we should cooperate. But you won't have the right spirit of cooperation or working with other people if you are on edge, if you are not taking care of yourself. And it's no one else's responsibility but yours to take care of yourself. We can't come to the table needy at this moment because people just don't have what it takes a lot of times to support us. It's really important to find your own balance. And then if you are one of the few that are grounded enough and have enough to spill over, then, spirit will lead you to deal with the right thing. Just make sure that you're not drained right now, because loving yourself is first. That's real love, is loving yourself. And then it expands outward. And then when it does expand outward, you have to be very circumspect about who you are letting into your circle right now, because your vibration right now will determine how things will move and what timeline you end up on, because we're at a crossroads as humanity. So this is a moment when every individual has the responsibility to take the lessons that we've all been processing this past year and to make the commitment to make the changes. Or no, don't just make the changes. Make the changes that are necessary. Be the change in the world that is needed, because that's our only salvation is spiritual. So please go within and be responsible for your energy. So one of the ways, it's very difficult right now for people to know, how to work with others, because there's no set methodology, unless you're in a community that has created plans for when things are unknown and how to work, you know, that's what the most difficult thing is. Like, what if, as things get chaotic, you know, you are thinking differently from the people that you thought were in your community or in your family, you know? You really have to consider how to make these really important decisions. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that for me, I use the I Ching a lot for consultation. I very much encourage everyone to learn how to use oracle readings. I do believe that it's time for us all to work together, but the time for like leaders and followers isn't. Like, we all have something important to bring to the table, even if you feel like in one way you might not be a leader to someone. I'm sure that, you know, everyone has something to offer. Yeah. We're really going through a very serious transformation. Right now, we are in the eclipse window. And we're coming up to this conjunction on the 21st between Jupiter and Saturn. And yeah, they're about to move into Aquarius and all of that. So, greetings, Fifth World. Yeah, it's a really, really serious time. And it's such a serious time that we have to be prepared for the unknown. That's pretty much where we're going. We have to stay grounded. We have to really connect with those that we trust. Right now, trust is really key. If you have people in your life that support and love you unconditionally, that don't judge you for your successes or failures, but love you, that's where we need to be investing our energies, because love is going to be the energy that's going to keep our hearts light, that's going to help us to process things properly without guilt and shame. It's all about projecting the energy from inside outward. It's like seeing yourself like a lighthouse, like a beacon of light in the darkness at this point. And beacons of light, I've heard this said, or lighthouses. You know, lighthouses don't go chasing after ships, right? The ships will find you. Just stay grounded, stay in your light, keep shining your light, and the correct community will be there. You know, the time for like creating consciously our community is done. Now it's time for us to just do our work and be authentic, and naturally our community will attract itself to us. You know, it's not a time for striving. It's not a time for putting pressure on yourself. It's just about healing, grounding. If you're wrestling with anything from your past, now is the time to clear that and really, you know, look at the people that you're connected to and be very circumspect. Now is the time to release any patterns as far as things that continuously happen to you and your family and community, you know, being a scapegoat, being, whatever. Now's the time to stand in your authority. It's time to review how you're relating within your idea of community. I myself had to make changes as far as my idea of family. I realized that I was very codependent. Very codependent. Like, it wasn't in my reality that I could not be attached to these people, as far as, don't get me wrong, I love my family, but as far as like my tribe that I'm working with and how I interact with my family, is the point, is that I am unapologetically myself and holding, the views that I hold, and with the purpose that I have in life. And I no longer am going to subject myself to energies unnecessarily. I'm going to listen to my inner child. I'm going to make life easier on myself. I am no longer going to be in agreement with any disrespect or abuse that comes my way. Whereas in the past, for the sake of keeping peace in the community, I think that's so many of us. And that's the problem, is that if we all take this view of respecting ourselves, to not allow any type of abuse to come in our direction, and speaking up when it happens, when we're all together, and it happens in groups as well, like, more of us need to not be in agreement with abusive situations. I'm in Mexico now, partly because of the fact that I was getting lessons in Atlanta, that wasn't where I needed to be as far as feeding me. Greetings, Roots Reggae girl. Just talking a little bit about community. Yeah, and how important it is right now to be very clear. A lot of us are steeped in fantasy around community, and it's very dangerous for us to have fantasy around community. Community has to be based on integrity and values and safety and trust, like those kinds of things. If you don't have those things, then you don't have a community, and we have to be very clear. The last live that I did, I mentioned that guy, Nature Boy, because I had never seen him before, and it shocked me that day I saw him. And actually, I interacted with him while he did a live, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what was going on. And it's really scary. It's scary, but he's not that far off from many of our communities as far as the personalities that grown. It's like these personalities that we knew. For me, I'd say in the 90s, as far as like men who, who are about my age back in the day when I was in my 20s or whatever. The egos have just continued to grow, and nothing has stopped, in our community. Like, there have been other, like, of course, mainstream has come against all of our communities. And so that usually is what brings things down. But like our own community, like, we allow a lot, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous because our community can be very dangerous if you go against them anyway, right? When I say our community, I mean brown people, Black community in America. But I no longer see that as my community, as the parameters of my community, because saying that doesn't mean that those people have the same values. And it's a very small people who I consider to be my community. And I mean, there are those that I know that that I personally am close to. Very few best friends that, where it's like, you know, on a moment's notice, I call, they're there, boom, 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 very few. And then online, it's like I'm happy to just connect. It's so important. And while I really resented the internet in the past, when I moved to Africa, I like wanted to get away from everything. And as far as the bombardment of everything, it's a lot. But I mean, I just got a smartphone like a couple years ago, like maybe 2 years ago. So I mean, it's taken me some time to fully embrace everything. Um, and I'm just really seeing the blessing, at least. I wouldn't be able to. Well, let me not say that. I'm just happy that I am able to be able to communicate, and that people of like minds can connect like this. So I wanted to share also an I Ching reading. I did an I Ching reading because I do encourage people to do I Ching readings or to do any kind of oracle reading. The I Ching is something that I've followed or that I've practiced for over 24 years now. And it's always on point. And so I just wanted to share what the reading was. I did a reading for December for the collective. That means for everyone. So that means that like what we need to look at in the world and how we need to function in the world, how we need to see, what's coming up and how to deal with it in the world, right? And the reading was, I wrote it down. Can you see it? 62 with the fifth line stressed, preponderance of the small, moving into 31, which is influence or wooing, right? These are hexagrams. So, what does that mean? Roots reggae, what I was saying is that I really recommend learning the I Ching. I recommend doing any kind of oracle, learning yourself how to do any kind of oracle. I myself just took up human design, which I love already, but it uses the I Ching. So it's like it's another step for me in human design. I would say do human design, do astrology, like get your chart done. I study astrology. Like I'm in a class, in an intermediate class. I love it so much. And maybe one day I'll counsel people in astrology, but not now. But yeah, I would say astrology, anything that can teach you about you. Know thyself. Because those things can teach you about you. So there's a really great astrology class that I take. And her name is Magali, Mama Magali, or Mama Maga. I have to, because she changed her name because of Make America Great Again. She changed it so it's Maja, because she doesn't want to be associated with that. But anyway, I'll put it in the link. She is really, really great. And right now, because of COVID, she's doing classes for free. Well, not for free, but for donation. So if you don't have money, the point is that she'll still, like, she's committed to supporting people. And I really, really love her. I mean, before she made it by donation, I was really praying that I could do it. It's just I had moved here and I really couldn't take on any other expenses. So, yeah. So, I mean, she's top notch. The fact that she's doing it for free is just because she's a really great person. Yeah. Well, I mean, she teaches a lot of things, actually. I love her very much. I would highly recommend her. And she's not a Black person. She is a white person. and she lives in North Carolina. She's right on point. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, she's like a mentor to me, you know, as far as someone that's helped me to navigate my life in the past like 3 or 4 years, watching her. And she does things like this where she does a lot of what is it called? She's an energy philanthropist. I mean, that's not what she calls herself, but that's what I aspire to be too, where you do the work for people. And people who can pay, and people who can't pay don't have to pay. But the point is that, you know that you're doing the work that you need to do, that you're helping the world, and there are enough people who have that are also willing to pay more to support you because they see your value. So she's one of those people. So anyway, I will put her information below so you can, I want to pass on information so people can know what to do. And also, Roots Reggae Girl, you can do shadow work. Like, it's good to find out good things about yourself, but it's really important to investigate, research the things that are most challenging for you, your problems. I'm sorry, hold on one second. I'm actually supposed to be seeing a house. I think they need me to come. Doo-doo. Hola.
Hola, Sandra. Ya estoy en mi casa.
Okay. Sí, voy pronto. Okay, muchas gracias.
Ándale, bueno.
Okay, gracias. Okay. So, yes, I'm going to go see a house right now. I've been waiting for them to call. So, yeah, no, I'm saying this is it, you got. This is the way I see it, okay? This is a life or death time. We are at war. Spiritually, psychologically, whatever. I'm saying the world is at war. I'm not going to talk about politics, but I am going to say that this is a time to be like down for yours. This is a time to help people. This is just that time. And so, the thing is though also that as a community person, because I've always kind of been that way, but right now it's like, hey, we need to share information. There are people who aren't going to make it without help. On the real. Like, everybody needs support. The world is flipping. And a lot of people aren't going to be ready for the level of change that we're going through. It's something that hasn't happened in generations, what we're about to go through. And Americans have been lulled to sleep over time, where we've thought that we are just secure in life and that we would never see war. We would never see the kinds of things that we've seen on television that other people have experienced for eons, and that America was doing, right? Just comfortable looking at television, enjoying war movies, excited about the idea of shooting and as a game, all that kind of stuff. Like, we are now waking up to the fact that it's not really cool because, hey, what if we see that? No one wants to be at war. Nobody wants to see killing and dying. Nobody wants to see people put in camps. No one wants to be forced to be vaccinated. No one wants any of that. Well, I mean, some people don't mind, but no one wants to be forced, okay? So, yeah, I am about that life. I came here and I know that Spirit has me, but I didn't have all my plans set out. I don't now. But I'm faithful, and I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be, and part of where I'm supposed to be is here available, for those looking for mental, emotional support in making their transformation, their mental transformation to what reality we're really in, as opposed to the reality that we thought we were in. And I know that one of the reasons why I'm here in Mexico is so I can be balanced enough to be an emotional mental support. Because if I'm in America, I'm too sensitive. I'm way too sensitive. So I couldn't watch what's going on and also be inside of it. So while I'm here, I do watch, like, I watch the lives of the protests almost every night. I check in to see what's going on. And I watch on the conservative live channels so I can hear what they're saying about what's going on and how they are seeing things. So, I mean, the patriot conservative people, the yeet eat people, I watch one of their channels because I want to see what they're talking about. They're the ones who are like really backing the blue and all that kind of stuff. And right now I can say that they're talking about civil war. Like, they're trying to keep themselves calm, but like on their chats, you'll see it scrolling through, and every like maybe 5 people will be like, time to hit the streets, civil war. They're talking about their guns. I'm talking about today, because there was a rally in Georgia that's called, what was it called? Stop the Steal, about the election, stop the stealing of the elections. And, I don't think they're wrong necessarily for that, because in reality, we already know that, yes, there's been voter fraud. I don't know if there's ever been a time where they haven't messed with the elections. But anyway, and the thing about them also is they're really like against also the reset and where the government is going. And that's one thing that I also I mean, it's too bad that we can't see that too, because I mean, everybody needs to recognize what's going on as far as um, the lawlessness. I mean, of course, there's BLM, but it's not just about that. So that's a problem, is that it polarizes people. I've said this before too, is like the Occupy movement, the 99%. That's the only way that, you can go, against the drones and all that kind of stuff too. Like, everybody, like when they divide people, it weakens too much. So anyway, the conservatives are all about that life. They're ready to hit the streets with some guns. And what will people do who don't have a team and people really need to think about it. Like, just have a plan. Just think about it. Again, so this is the thing. This is the shadow work, right? This is the shadow work. No one wants to think about if the military hits the streets and they start going door to door telling you to take a vaccine or get put in a camp. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I apologize. I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about politics. But I do want to talk about community and how to work together as community in a healthy way. It's really important to get your hands on your closest 4 or 5 friends and make a plan. Make a plan. Make a plan A, make a plan B. Think of some scenarios. Think of some scary things too, because right now there are a lot of things that are possible. There's a lot of things that are possible right now. And I don't want to scare anyone. Not at all. Not at all. I want to get people just to think so that you can be in a better position and you won't be caught off guard. I hope the police and military will side with the people. The thing is that also they don't need that many people. As far as technology, they don't need police and military, really. I mean, they're using them, but they have drones. They have machines. They just haven't pulled them out yet. So, like, I just don't know if people are really ready for the reality of what they have, like what they go to war with other people. They're about to, be willing to use it on us. And it's a different thing than what we've seen. It's not, okay, I'm not gonna, there are recent things that have been done technologically that have changed the game. Yeah. So, yeah, just think about that. Think about that. Any community needs to have a male and a female aspect that's functioning properly in order to survive. So you need to have the protection and you need to have the nourishment. Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Again, like moving forward, it's like we're just moving into the unknown. So all I can offer is that when it all goes down, we want to make sure that we are in a good place with ourselves and that we have faith and courage and we know who's in our community. So I was going to stay on longer, but I have to go see this house. So I will be back soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Yeah, self-reliance is really good. I mean, we have to get back to self-reliance on some level. The thing is that because we've grown up in America, which is narcissist, we've taken on a lot of those characteristics within our own community where, of course, if you can't have relationships stay together, marriages stay together, families stay together, then of course, community too. The marriage relationship is the incubator for the community. Like that's where it starts, is a commitment and loyalty and devotion and love with just one other person. That's where it starts. And if we get into the idea that that's not important, then we're in trouble as far as a community. Individuals can do all kinds of things, but the way communities work is that if you have 100 people that give something to the pot, everyone has more, as opposed to one person having to provide all services, all things for themselves. And instead of like trying to step forward with people to manipulate them for the little things, instead giving yourself to a group of people fully that you love and trust will come back tenfold, where that is living, that is life, thriving with other people, being happy. And even though I live in isolation right now, I have always held the vision of having a thriving, independent community, people that I work with harmoniously daily. I would love that. Right now, I'm happy being alone because I'm working on me, and this is how Spirit has worked it out. I mean, I've always been open for someone to join me or something if someone else wanted to come out to Mexico, but it's been so great for me. I really need it. My codependent nature, I needed to like deal with me, be happy with me, treat me, not look for other people, not be needy. I'm not needy. I'm very, very happy with me now in a way where I don't get lonely. But yes. Oh, I will get, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think what her name is. Magali. Type in YouTube, it's Magali Astrology. That's Magali. astrology. And she'll come up, and almost every day she does live transmissions of astrology, and she's extremely deep. And I've learned so much from her, and I encourage everyone to tune in. She also just started a prayer group for people who have dying loved ones on Fridays, and I think I'm going to join this. You can put in a name and a picture of someone you love, and they just pray for people who are dying or who have died. And I think I'm going to join that too, because these are the kinds of things that we need to do. We just need to hold space. You know, if you can, when you can, do it. If you can't, no big deal. I'm just saying, think of the ways that we can serve each other, you know, from our hearts. You know, it's not about money. It's about focus and attention and love, you know? So yeah, she has the prayer circle. She has healing groups where people can just share and talk about what's going on in their lives. And I was thinking I might start that myself, because she has one, but it's like all white people, and I love it. But I'm saying that also for our community, it's different. It's a different cultural feel, and I'm thinking that we might need to do that. I would love to do that, like meet maybe once a week, and people just like do a Zoom where people just share what they're going through, and other people just sit and listen to them. And it's just a way for us to be community, like hold space for each other and acknowledge what people are going through and support each other, be loving. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, Lynette, also for coming in. I see you. I see Fifth World and Roots Reggae. I really appreciate you guys. And I will be coming soon. I just have to go look at a house. I'm going to be moving soon. Okay? Peace and love. Take care, everyone. Stay unified. Oh, you know, I never even told you the whole thing with the I Ching. Gosh. Okay, I'm going to tell you really quick before I go. Preponderance of the of the small is number 62 in the I Ching. And the line that we got was the fifth line. It was moving into 31. So preponderance of the small means that it's not good to strive towards anything. It's really important to, I apologize. I get really, preponderance of the small means that it's really good to focus on the details, to not strive for anything new. Like, don't try to create anything. Don't go toward anything, but stay low, stay grounded, stay focused on the details of how you're doing it. Everything is very significant right now. Again, like what we were saying, go through your shadow work, like really think about what's going on with you and look at the details. Don't strive. Let me see, what was the fifth line? I did write it down. Okay, yes. Keep a low profile. Be very simple. Devote yourself to whatever you're doing. Like, just really be focused. Don't get distracted right now. Really pay attention to all of the details. And when you look at the fifth line, it talks about being very creative in how you deal with things. You cannot address things the way you have in the past. You have to do things differently. So pay close attention and then consider how you might address a situation differently. So this is all about all of December for us. So whatever happens, because something big is going to happen in December, guaranteed, something huge is going to happen. So when that happens, don't force yourself to do anything. Like, ground yourself. Just stay focused on the details and be very creative in how you're going to address it. Understand that, again, things are different now. So you have to approach things different now. You have to be a different person now. Okay, you have to bring things out. Hey, Yasmin, what's up, girl? Dr. Yaz. Okay, yeah. And in order to get what you desire, you have to be able to, again, what I was saying as far as being a lighthouse, a beacon of light in darkness. You have to be able to see the light within yourself and shine it outward. That is your creativity. You're creating that in your in your vision, because you're not going to see it in the outside world. You have to create the light. You have to be creative, and you have to shine it to those that are around you. Okay, so that's what the 60-second hexagram, preponderance of the small with the fifth line stressed, is saying about how to address December. And then it is moving into 31. And 31 is basically very similar because it's called influence or wooing. And it means that in order to get what you want, you don't go after it. You wait and you woo it. Okay, you do that with your magnetic energy. And again, that's with your feminine energy of visualization. And, there are lots of ways that we woo things. But, also I would say that in America, again, the culture is not one of wooing, right? How many of us have dealt with suitors and taking our time in relationships? So again, it might be a little different. Like it's a different approach to what we are taught to be in America as far as go get it. You don't go get it in this circumstance. This is a situation that whatever it is that you want, you, again, stay grounded, stay visualizing, stay uplifted as far as what you want. And that is how you would. You take your time and know that it's coming to you. And you bring it to yourself psychically. Okay. So, again, I don't know what's going to be happening this month, but we do know it's going to be big. So whatever happens, it is up to us to create the positive vision that we want to see to come out of it, and to be grounded, and to be focused on the details, and to be creative, and to not force ourselves out into the world in any way, but to be patient, knowing that what it is that we want will come to us. Okay, so that is the word from the I Ching for December. And I will, actually, before I even go, I will get this link for you. Hold on. Don't want to leave you guys. I'm going to put in the link for the talk that she did today. I want to encourage you all to come. I am one of the only Black people that goes.
Hey, I'm Kenya Barris, writer, director, producer, actor, activist.
Sorry. Okay. Excuse me, you guys. I'm janky sometimes. All right. There. Okay. So that's Mama Magali's astrology that she did today. I encourage everyone, if someone had asked about it, that's her link. That is
Do you believe that hard work is what it takes to be successful? I know this sounds bad, but I think it's one of the most bullshit.
Dang it, I have too many windows open.
Just one second. Hard work has very, very, very little to do with success.
Okay. Yes, so that is a good source for really in-depth astrology and how to apply it to your life day by day. Okay, astrology is a very, very deep science that changes every day, and it's very exciting. So I definitely encourage you guys to get into that. Yeah, and if anyone wants any consultations, I do I Ching reading consultations as far as personal things. and personal consultations. I don't do astrology consultations alone, but I can do it as part of a consultation because I do know a lot of astrology. I wouldn't say I'm an astrologer. I can definitely tell you a lot. So anyway, I look forward to talking to you guys soon and wish me luck on this place I'm going to go see. Okay, take care. Much love. Peace.